Story 1. The shadow at the corner. James was a hard-working student, staying alone in his small dorm room. That night, after hours of studying with only the dim glow of his laptop for company, he collapsed onto his bed. The hum of the ceiling fan was the last thing he remembered before sleep overtook him. Sometime later, his eyes suddenly opened. He wasn't sure what had woken him, but something felt wrong. His room was too quiet, the air heavy, pressing down on him. When he tried to roll over, panic struck. His body wouldn't move. His arms, his legs completely frozen. At first, he thought he was dreaming, but then his eyes adjusted to the dark, and he saw Italiano. In the far corner of his room, a tall figure stood motionless, a black shadow, darker than the room itself. It had no features, just a void, but James knew, deep inside, that it was watching him. The silence turned unbearable. Then, the shadow shifted, slowly, one step at a time. It began moving toward him. The sound of footsteps wasn't real, but James felt each step inside his skin, vibration against his bones. As it reached his bedside, James' chest grew heavy, his breathing shallow. He felt the mattress sink as if something unseen had sat down. Then, though it had no mouth, James heard it, a voice, broken and distorted, whispering words in a language he couldn't understand, but his mind translated the feeling. "You are mine." Tears welled up in his eyes as he fought to move. Suddenly, his body jerked awake. The shadow vanished, but the next morning, James noticed something, chilling finger-shaped impressions on the side of his mattress, as if something had really been sitting there. Story 2. The woman on my chest. Emily was a nurse, used to exhaustion after long night shifts. One morning, she reached home just after sunrise, still in her uniform. Too tired to change, she dropped onto her bed. She woke up minutes later, at least. She thought she woke up. Her eyes were open, staring at her ceiling, but her body wouldn't move. Fear gripped her instantly. Her breathing turned shallow as panic set in. Then she felt a crushing weight pressing down on her chest. She looked down and froze. A woman sat on her, directly on her chest. Her skin was deathly pale, almost gray, stretched thin over her bones. Her hair was long, tangled, and covered Emily's body like a shroud. Her lips were cracked, and her eyes completely hollow. Black voids staring at her. Emily tried to scream, but her throat was locked. Her vision blurred as the woman leaned closer. Her cold, rotting breath brushing Emily's cheek. Then the woman spoke, in a voice so dry and hollow, it didn't sound human. "You don't belong here." Emily's heart raced, pounding so violently she thought it would burst. The woman's face opened into a grotesque grin, her jaws stretching unnaturally wide, teeth jagged and rotting. Emily struggled, fighting her invisible bonds, until finally, with a violent gasp, she woke up. She sat upright, drenched in sweat, chest still aching as though someone had really been sitting there. For weeks, she avoided sleep, terrified the woman would return. But sometimes, in the dead of night, she swears she can still feel that weight pressing down on her chest, waiting for her to open her eyes again. Story 3. The crawling intruder. Mark was a truck driver, used to cheap motels and restless nights. That evening, after a long day on the road, he checked into a roadside inn. The room was small, the wallpaper peeling, and the only sound was the faint hum of an old refrigerator. Exhaustion knocked him out almost instantly. But around 2 a.m., his eyes opened. The room was unnaturally silent. The air felt colder, thicker. He tried to sit up, but his body didn't respond. Frozen in place, his heart raced as his mind screamed for control. Then, a sound. Scratch, scratch, scratch. The noise came from the door, sharp and deliberate, as if something was clawing its way inside. The sound grew louder, faster, until creak. The door slowly opened. Mark's eyes widened in horror as something crawled in. It wasn't human. It moved on all fours, but its joints bent the wrong way, bones cracking loudly with every movement. Its long limbs dragged against the floor, nails scratching the wood as it crept closer. Its head jerked unnaturally, snapping at impossible angles. When it finally turned toward Mark, its face made his blood run cold. Its mouth was too wide, stretching unnaturally across its face. Its eyes nothing but deep, hollow pits. And yet, he knew he could see him. The creature moved faster, crawling like a spider until it reached the side of his bed. Its long, skeletal fingers reached up toward his face. Mark's mind screamed, but his body refused to move. He felt its icy fingertips graze his cheek, and then, suddenly, he broke free. With a violent gasp, he sat upright, swinging his arms in panic. The creature was gone. The door was shut. The room was silent. But the next morning, as Mark prepared to leave, he froze. On the inside of the motel door, deep scratch marks ran all the way down the wood ass. If something had truly tried to claw its way in,